you also always end up saying very good, very bad, very nice instead of using advanced vocabulary words? Then this video is for you. In this video, we learn 60 plus advanced words that you can use in your speech. This is part 2 of the video. If you haven't checked out part 1, then please do. Now we will discuss some adjectives that we use to describe the weather. It's really hot in Delhi, but instead of using the word hot, use sweltering. Sweltering. It's sweltering hot in Delhi in June. You can also use the word blistering. Blistering. For example, the blistering heat is unbearable. Unbearable का मतलब है कि आप झेल नहीं पा रहे हो, इतनी गर्मी है. When the weather is not too hot, not too cold, you can use the word pleasant. Pleasant. The weather was so pleasant that I wanted to go out. In informal conversations, you can describe this weather as comfy. Comfy. The weather was comfy, so I decided to go for a walk. It looks like it's about to rain. It's cloudy. But instead of cloudy, use the word gloomy. Gloomy. Gloomy can be used to describe a time when there is no sunlight because there are so many clouds in the sky. For example, the gloomy day made everybody feel melancholic. You can also use the word overcast. Overcast. For example, the overcast meant it's about to rain. It's really cold, but instead of saying cold, use the word piercing. Piercing. The piercing cold forced everybody to stay indoors. You can also use the word biting. Biting. We had to wear caps to protect ourselves from the biting cold. It's raining, but instead of raining, use the word drizzling. Drizzling. Drizzling का मतलब है हल्की हल्की बारिश constantly होते रहना. For example, you must visit London during the drizzling weather. But if it's heavy rain, use the word torrential. Torrential. The torrential rain swept away many houses. In this picture, there are no clouds and the sky is bright and blue. But instead of saying clear, use the word azure. Azure. Azure is used to describe the bright blue color of the sky. For example, the sun shone brightly in the azure afternoon sky. You can also use the word cloudless. Cloudless. It was a perfect day with a cloudless sky. It looks like there's about to be a storm. But instead of using the word stormy to describe this weather, use tempestuous. Tempestuous. For example, the tempestuous weather caused heavy flooding in the town. You can also use the word turbulent. Turbulent. The plane shook violently because of the turbulent weather. In this picture, we can't see things very clearly because the weather is foggy. But instead of foggy, use the word hazy. Hazy. Hazy can be used to describe a weather when things are not clearly visible. For example, we couldn't even see the traffic lights on the hazy morning. You can also use the word misty. Misty. Misty can be used to describe a weather when the air is filled with moisture. For example, the misty morning made our day even more beautiful. In this picture, the weather looks windy. But instead of windy, use the word breezy. Breezy. Breezy can be used to describe light, pleasant wind. Bhini bhini hawa jo achhi lage. For example, a morning walk on a breezy day is always refreshing. You can also use the word blustery. Blustery. Blustery can be used to describe strong wind. For example, he tied his scarf tightly around his neck on the blustery morning. It looks like it hasn't rained in this place for a very long time. But instead of using the word dry, use the word arid. Arid. Arid can be used to describe a place where no plants can grow because it's so dry. For example, the desert had arid landscape with little vegetation. You can also use the word parched. Parched. Parched can also mean very thirsty, but it can also be used to describe a place which is very dry. For example, after months without rain, the land was parched. Now let's move on to personalities. In this, we will discuss words that we can use to describe people. How would you describe this person? I think she's shy because she doesn't want to be clicked. But instead of using the word shy, use the word coy. coy. For example, women in India are expected to be coy. You can also use the word timid. Timid. Timid can be used to describe a person who is shy and underconfident. For example, the timid child was scared of the bully. This person is lazy. But instead of lazy, use the word sluggish. Sluggish. I feel sluggish without my morning coffee. You can also use the word slothful. Slothful. Sloths are animals who are very lazy and doesn't like to move around. For example, I feel really slothful during our vacations. This person is making everyone laugh. He must be funny. But instead of using the word funny, use the word hysterical. Hysterical. Hysterical means very funny, but it can also mean uncontrollable emotion. For example, his hysterical remarks made everybody laugh. You can also use the word hilarious. Hilarious. You should be a stand-up comedian. You are hilarious. This person looks really friendly. But instead of using the word friendly, use the word amiable. Amiable. He is amiable and gets along with everyone. You can also use the word affable. Affable. An affable person is friendly and easy to talk to, जिससे आप बहुत easily बात कर सको. For example, the manager was affable as he made his new employees really comfortable. In this picture, the person looks confident. But instead of using the word confident to describe him, use the word self-assured. Self-assured. For example, he's a self-assured businessman who doesn't get affected by competition. You can also use the word assertive. Assertive. An assertive person is not only confident, but they are not afraid of saying what they want. They are not afraid of expressing their desires. For example, you have to be assertive if you want that promotion. We all know this person. He is really well respected in the society. But instead of using the word respected, use the word revered. Revered. Revered can be used to describe someone who is respected and admired by everybody. For example, APJ Abdul Kalam is one of the most revered scientists. You can also use the word esteemed. Esteemed. He is an esteemed professor in the field of science. In this picture, the person is helping others by doing charity. But instead of describing her as kind, use the word benevolent. Benevolent. For example, her benevolent nature made her really likable. You can also use the word compassionate. Compassionate. A compassionate person is somebody who feels bad because others are suffering. अगर आपको भी बुरा लगता है जब दूसरे लोग सफर करते हैं, then you can describe yourself as compassionate. For example, the teacher was compassionate towards her students. In this picture, the person is being rude. But instead of rude, say the word impertinent. Impertinent. An impertinent person is somebody who is rude and disrespectful. You can also use it to describe remarks and thoughts. For example, he made some impertinent comments about his colleagues. You can also use the word insolent. Insolent. He is an insolent young man who is always arguing with his parents. We all know that Ranveer Singh is really energetic. He's always full of energy. But instead of using the word energetic, say exuberant. Exuberant. For example, his exuberant personality makes him the life of the party. You can also use the word effervescent. Effervescent. For example, he is one of the most effervescent Bollywood stars. A person who only cares about themselves is selfish. But instead of selfish, use the word inconsiderate. Inconsiderate. My neighbors are inconsiderate as they play loud music all night. You can also use the word narcissist. Narcissist. A narcissist person is somebody who only cares about themselves and is self-obsessed. For example, he had no friends because he was a narcissist. This brings us to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. If you did, then please like, share and subscribe. Keep unscrewing English with me. I'll see you next time.